I'm Jon Decker, PGA instructor and author of the book, Golf is My Life, Glorifying God Through the Game. Are you a slicer? One of the most common things that I see as an instructor is I see my students slice the ball. And a slice is a ball that goes from left to right. And the majority of the time this starts with the grip. Now I'm not going to talk too much about the grip in this particular video. If you look under the golfswing.com, under my videos, you'll see that I've done several tips on the grip. So if you're struggling in your grip, and a couple things I'll mention on the grip is that you want to put the padding of your left hand on top of the club and the fingers underneath. You want to get the V of your left hand pointing to your right shoulder, and then when you put your right hand on the club, you want the V that you form right here going to your right shoulder as well. Now this is going to control the club face. But the thing that I want to talk about in this tip is the takeaway. And one of the things that I notice a lot of times when people take the club back is they'll take the club back and they open the club face. They rotate their forearms, which causes the face to open up. And when you do this, number one is you're going to lose power. You're going to hit a weak shot, and the majority of times your ball is going to curve to the right. So one of the things that I try to focus on is when you take the club back, is you want to take the club back with your back and shoulders. You don't want to manipulate the club face. Now, a simple way to look at this is when you take the club back, is I've got a club here that's laying on the ground, and it's right where my toes are, and I put an alignment stick right here, and it's very much at the same angle I would have if I had it set up, pretty much. So when I go back, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying for this club to form a right angle with that target line. Notice, or excuse me, with that alignment stick. So notice when I go back, that right angle that I've created right there. That's what I'm trying to do. Another way to think about this is when I go back, I want to point the padding of my right hand down to the club, just like this. I do not want my right hand to do this. Your right hand is very critical because where your right hand is on the club is going to directly reflect where your club face is going to go. So if you have your right hand too far underneath, you may shut the club face. If you have your right hand too far on top, it's going to tend to open the club face, and this is going to lead to loss of power, and you're definitely going to hit the ball to the right if you're doing that. So you always want the club face to point to the ball. So notice, this is something I can do. Now I'm not going to hit balls doing this, but I can go back when I'm practicing at home, and when I swing back, where this club is parallel to the club on the ground, I want that to form a right angle. So notice the toe of the club, or the club face, is pointing down to the ball. Now once I've done that, I can remove this, and I just want to take that same feeling, just like that, where the club is going over the club on the ground. Notice the club face is pointing down to the ball. So if there was a laser coming out of the club face, it would be pointing down to the ball. I do not want to see my club face do this. Many of you have video on your phones now. So if you have someone stand behind you and film you, go back and try to stop it and see where your club face is pointing. If your club face is pointing to the ball, you're fine. If your club face is pointing over here, that's when your club face is too open. And again, if you're doing that, it's either one because of your grip, or two because of what you're doing in your arms. And then from there, I'm going to go ahead and swing the club. I've got that same feeling. I'm going to swing it back, and then I'm just going to go ahead and shift through and hit my shot. One of the things that I do when I'm hitting my shot is I get this sensation when I hit that. That ball had a little bit of a draw to it. This is going to be very easy to do when I'm swinging the club if I can keep my club face in this position where it's pointing at the ball. I know that if I can resist the rotation of my forearms where my club face is getting open, I know I'm going to hit the ball a lot more solid. Remember, we're trying to compress the ball. Notice how I got a divot there? So if my club face is in this position right here, when I go back, it's also in this position when I come down, and when I shift into the ball, see, that's going to line me up with the ball. If I've got the club face open over here, I've got the club in this position, now I've got to use my hands to square it up, and that's when you're going to lose your power. Focus on your grip. If you're a slicer, look at your grip first, and I would recommend that if you are a slicer, or if you're losing power, that you go to your local club professional and that you get a lesson on your grip, making sure that you're holding the club properly. Because the thing about about a video is I can tell it to you, but until you have someone who's trained looking at this, it can be very difficult to spot because the grip is very important. Once you get the grip, just focus on swinging back and try to create that angle right there where you're keeping that club face down. Use the alignment stick to help you with this as well. You're definitely going to hit the